It is October 11th, 2022, and the Major League Baseball playoffs are underway. We got all the BS out of the way. Now we got the top guns going at it. I really thought the Mets could have been playing in the finals at some point, hopefully against either the Yankees or maybe even the Astros, but they got knocked out pretty quick and easy. Kind of shocking to see, but we already got two games that already have been played today. We got Houston's in trouble right now by Seattle, my underdog team. I'm hoping and praying they will get to the big show. So yeah, it's going to be a crazy month of playoffs and World Series. I think we're going to see a couple teams in the finals that will surprise us. I wouldn't be shocked if Cleveland even snuck in there. So, but as it stands, we have got two games coming up tonight. Two of the better games that I think you guys probably are going to have trouble handicapping and figuring out, because, I mean, you're seeing Seattle right now take care of Houston. You know, the game's about half over, 6-3. So doesn't necessarily mean that it's over for this game. But, boy, I'll tell you, Seattle came out strong, hammering on Verlander, giving up 10 hits, bunch of runs. Just, I guess, not surprising. We had him here in Detroit, and we've seen what the playoffs can do to him. I don't know. Pretty crazy, especially against Seattle. Seattle's kind of flying under the radar. Anyway, so tonight, 7:10, first pitch scheduled. We've got the Cleveland Guardians and the Yankees in New York. I keep saying the Indians. I got to be careful with that. It's so easy to say, but the Guardians, winner of the American League Central Division, travel to the Bronx to take on the AL East Division champion New York Yankees. The Guardians come in fresh off a 2-game sweep of the Tampa Bay Rays and will be matching up with the Yankees team that's been resting since last Wednesday. I mean, sometimes that can be good, sometimes it can be bad, depending on how a lot of those players like to play. So a lot of them like to just keep playing. They feel like they're in that groove. I don't know. I know every player is different. On the mound for the Guardians, you got right-hander Cal Quantrill. You've heard his name a lot here on the show. 15-5, 3.38 ERA. And he's taking on the hard-throwing righty Garrett Cole, 13-8, 3.50 ERA. Now, the Guardians come into the ALDS as probably the hottest team left in all of baseball, in my opinion. After sweeping the Rays in 2 straight close games, the Guardians are now 26-4 in their last 30 games. A lot of people did not know that. They have just absolutely cleaned house. The Guardians have made a living this season on outstanding starting pitching, timely hitting, defense, and perhaps the league's best closer in Emmanuel Class. Against the Rays, the Guardians scored just 3 runs in 2 games, but allowed just 1 to complete the sweep. Included in the series sweep was a 15-inning, 1-0 win in Game 2, in which the Guardians bullpen went 9 innings. Allowed 4 hits and struck out 6 batters for the series. The Guardians bullpen went 10.1 innings overall with just 4 hits, 0 runs allowed, and 7 strikeouts. The Guardians also come into this series with the 3rd-ranked defense in baseball. Now, the Yankees returned to action with 5 days worth of rest and hopefully improved health from some key players. The Yankees manager, Aaron Boone, made some interesting roster moves prior to the ALDS. He added Matt Carpenter to the roster, who appears to have recovered enough from a fractured foot to DH and possibly pinch hit in this series. In another high-profile move, Boone decided to keep reliever Aroldis Chapman out and off the roster after he missed a mandatory workout prior to the series. This guy has had a lot of issues lately with the coaching staff, with everybody who's running the team. This guy is a problem. So he is not on the roster. Will that play a part in all that? Well, the guy's pretty wild. He's been wild in the past. When it comes down to the playoffs, you would think maybe he'd zone in better, but he never really has. He does throw hard, but the Yankees feel like this guy is not going to do much for them, and they feel Carpenter's going to be the better move. He won't be, and at least Carpenter won't be a distraction for the team. Now, New York comes into this series 20-10 in their last 30 games. They also come into this series free of the added distraction of soon-to-be AL MVP Aaron Judge and his home run chase. Finally, that thing is over, and they can concentrate on the playoffs, because I really think their little what do you want to call it? Their little slump, I guess you could call it. I think they were really focusing on this guy's getting him this record, and I think it played a part in it. And now that distraction's over, let's see what happens. You know, the Yankees have turned things around after a tough stretch after the All-Star break, and finished the season as the league's leading home run team, the second highest scoring offense, and the third best bullpen ERA in all of baseball. Now, Cole is in so many ways the key to the Yankees' postseason success. The right-hander is 8-5 in his career in the playoffs with an ERA of 2.93 in his 14 career starts. He's allowed 15 home runs in 14 starts, struck out 11 batters per 9 innings. Cole has not finished the season strong, however, with an ERA of 5.21 and faces a team that strikes out the least in baseball, and the Guardians. That could pose a problem. The Yankees come into this series with far more question marks than the Guardians do. They will need production from players other than Aaron Judge in this series, and the likes of Stanton, he will not have been right since July. LeMahieu's status is still up in the air, as he's only had 18 plate appearances in September as he recovers from a toe injury. Now, Carpenter's presence could help the Yankees lineup, but he hasn't played in nearly 2 months. Both teams have excellent bullpens, with the Yankees ranked 3rd in baseball and the Guardians ranked 5th. Now, in Game 1, the Yankees bullpen will be limited, as closer Clay Holmes will likely be held out as he recovers from a cortisone shot he received on his ailing right shoulder. Now, the Guardians, meanwhile, come in this with a hot pitching staff and a hot starter in Cal Quantrill. The Guardians will not run away from you with their offense, but they are supremely equipped to win close games. Cleveland is now 30-17 in one-run games, and that's going to play a huge factor in this series, because I really believe that there's going to be a lot of one-run games, and that's where my prediction at the end of the Cleveland-New York story will come to. And you'll see when I give out my prediction for this game, you'll see why. Now, they have been able to get to class with the lead or a tie in each of their 2 playoff games, and they won't hurt themselves with an outstanding defense. Cleveland is not a power hitting team with the fewest home runs left in the playoffs, but they have enough pop to take advantage of Cole giving up the long ball. This game tonight is going to be tight. I do like the Guardians to possibly steal game 1, but I think to play it safe, since I really believe these games are going to be really close, I think if you take the plus 1.5 run line, it's the way to go. You're looking at minus $1.23, which I think is pretty fair. And it covers the Guardians if this game stays close and they don't pull it out. I truly believe there's going to be a lot of 1-run games in this series. So my play in this is going to be Cleveland plus the 1.5. I do like that. Now, as it goes for, let's see here. You got the over and under. Interestingly, it's been staying at 6.5. I think if you want to take the over and under here, over 6.5 is minus 130. I think it's worth playing lightly. Quintrell was money away from home for most of the season, and he hasn't lost since early July, so the Yankees won't find it easy to get to him, at least early on. Cole dominated the Guardians during the regular season, and Cleveland has had trouble scoring against plenty of the teams lately. However, look for the offense to pick up in the latter half of the game as both New York and Cleveland start to pour it on at the end. And that's where you're going to see, I think, most of your runs later in the game. Is this a game of no run first inning? I think it's a bit steep. It's like, I think it was minus 179 the last time I looked at it. So, I mean, I don't think many runs are going to be scored early on, but I do think they're going to be scored more later in the game. So if you wanted to live bet this, that 6.5 could drop down to 5.5, and then you can hit it at about, once it hits around 5.5, I think you'll be all right. But I definitely do like the over in this game also. So Cleveland plus 1.5. And the over 6.5. But play the over 6.5 lightly unless you live bet it. Get that to drop down to 5.5, and then you can probably pop a unit on there. As for the second game, we got San Diego traveling to the Dodgers. First pitch is scheduled for 9:37 p.m. Eastern time. And this is the start of the divisional round. That brings us a battle of the NL West. Right in the city of the Angels. The Padres are on the road as they make a trip to play game 1 of their best-of-5 series with the Dodgers. The Padres advanced by blanking the Mets 6-0 on the road in a winner-take-all game 3, which we always love, of their wild card series last Sunday night. LA split a 6-game home series with the Rockies to close the regular season as they beat Colorado 6-1 in the regular season finale. That was last Wednesday afternoon. So they've had some time off. Now the Dodgers owned a commanding 14-5 advantage, outscoring the Padres 109-47, which is just mind-blowing. It includes taking 2 of 3 at Petco Park in the most recent series in September, at the end of September. Now, San Diego ended up in the wild card round after splitting the first 2 games. They handcuffed the Mets in the decisive game 3 to advance to the divisional round. The Padres face a much stiffer challenge than they did in the dispatching of the Mets as the Dodgers had in their number in their regular season. Now, against the Mets in Game 3, San Diego got 2 hits from Trent Grisham, Austin Nola, Juan Soto, and Manny Machado in the victory. Now, Musgrove did the job on the mound as he shut the Mets bats down, allowing no runs on one hit with one walk and 5 strikeouts over 7 innings of work before turning things over to their bullpen. As for the Dodgers, LA cruised down the stretch, having long ago locked up home field advantage throughout the NL playoffs. They snapped a 3-game skid by beating the Rockies in the regular season finale. The Dodgers finished the year with a 111-51, leaving them 22 games ahead of the Padres for the division crown. Julio Urias has been tabbed as tonight's starter for the Dodgers. Now, he's logged in 31 regular season starts. He was 17-7, 2.16 ERA, and a 0.96 whip. 41 walks, 166 strikeouts, over 175 innings of work for the year. Now, Urias took the loss in his last start, which came last Tuesday at home against the Rockies. He threw 5 innings, allowing 2 runs on 4 hits, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts in a 5-2 Dodgers defeat. In his last 3 starts, Urias has had no record with a 1.10 ERA, 1.04 whip, 4 walks, 14 Ks, over 16 innings of work. Urias makes his 16th career appearance and 11th start against the Padres in this contest. So Padres and Urias, they're kind of used to each other. So this is this it could be good for both teams here. Urias is 20-7 with 3 saves, a 2.95 ERA, 1.082 whip, 80 walks, and 283 strikeouts over 293 innings in 67 career appearances, 49 starts at Dodger Stadium. So he's got a lot of work in that stadium. He knows everything he needs to know about taking care of this game 1. You couldn't have really a better – you could have Kershaw there, but I think they've got the right guy going for game 1. Now, on the other side, Mike Clevinger is slated to take the ball for his first postseason start for the Padres. He's logged in 23 regular season appearances, 22 starts on the year. He was only 7-7 with a 4.33 ERA and a 1.198 whip. 35 walks, 91 strikeouts, over 114 innings of work this season. Now, Clevinger earned the win in his last start, which came all the way on October 1st at home against the White Sox. He threw 6 innings, allowing 1 run, 3 hits, no walks, and 3 strikeouts in a game. The Padres won by a 5-2 score. Now, in his last 3 starts, Clevinger is 2-0 with a 3.45 ERA with a 1.09 whip. Not too bad. 3 walks, 8 strikeouts, over 15.2 innings of work. Now, Clevinger makes his 4th career start against the Dodgers. He's 0-2 with a 9.69 ERA and a 1.539 whip. 4 walks, 11 strikeouts, over 13 innings of work against them. Now, Clevinger is 0-2, though, with an 11.25 ERA and a 1.75 whip. 3 walks, 7 strikeouts, over 8 innings in 2 career starts at Dodger Stadium. Now, that's definitely not good. The Dodgers have the rest advantage. They have home field advantage in this series working for them. After all, the Dodgers were 57-24 at home this season, and they've dominated the series against the Padres. In addition, San Diego had to fly back to the West Coast late Sunday night after playing what equates to a normal 3-game series with the Mets, which means their bullpen got some usage. Even though it was Sunday and it's now Tuesday, it's still for pitchers to get their guns back. It's going to take some time, especially this far into the year. There's a lot of use done on those arms. So this could prove problematic against the well-rested Dodgers. But Clevinger has sputtered in his starts against the Dodgers in his career, while Urias has been just stellar against the Padres, including a 3-0 mark with a 1.50 ERA over 24 innings in 4 starts against them this season. You got to give the upper hand to the Dodgers here as they take the opening game of the series. Now, some are, I know I've had a few messages coming in. What about the over and under? Well, as it stands for the over and under, you're looking at 7.5 runs. You know, Clevenger has displayed some soft skills throughout the season and has been knocked around by the Dodgers offense in the 3 previous meetings, and that's hard to ignore. Urias, though, has been excellent all year, but also a little lucky and shouldn't be expected to completely shut down the San Diego Bats. I think, with the focus so much now in this short 5-game series, which I think at this point probably should, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the 5-game series at this point, but maybe it's because it's that time of year. I don't know. But it is only 5 games, so there's going to be, the bats are going to be swinging. The early money has been on the over, which has pushed the total up since it opened. I think it opened up at 7. I haven't seen it drop to 6.5. So they do believe there's going to be some runs scored. As I have LA, I would play LA Dodgers money line minus the 1.5. I think they could easily win this by more than 2 runs. As for the over of 7.5, I can definitely see some runs being scored here from the Dodgers. And I think you're going to get some out of San Diego, not many. So I think you're looking at probably, the over 7.5. I think you're going to get 8 to 9 runs tonight. So over 7.5 right now is basically a buck for a buck. It's minus 103, almost a pick 'em type of price here. Go LA Dodgers minus 1.5 and go over 7.5 runs for the game. So there you go. You've got Cleveland plus 1.5. You got Dodgers minus 1.5. Those are the best bets, I believe, for this game. Taking the over and unders in here is more of a lean. So let's run with that. Dodgers or Cleveland plus 1.5. Dodgers minus 1.5. And tomorrow we'll give you the results. And we've got college football starting tomorrow night. We've got the Raging Cajuns traveling to Marshall. Got a full-blown breakdown of that. I will do early in the day. We got some changes coming up here. We got some new faces coming on, multiple faces at that. And we hope we bring in some more viewers and start to build this show. Anyway, have a great night and good luck, everybody, with betting on the Dodgers and the Guardians.